Hello, gore horrors and deadites. I am Sam, and welcome to Our Life in Horror. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while now because I am very into captivity movies. Probably because I'm a female, and this is something that I feared growing up. Like, I would be walking down the street thinking I was going to get taken. You know, you always hear about the white vans with the tinted windows, not to trust any of them. You pass houses and wonder if someone's trapped in the basement. I don't know. These are the thoughts that go through my head. So I've gone down some rabbit holes in the past about stories of females getting taken, held captive for many years, and then escaping and surviving. Those are the stories that have always fascinated me. I am going to be talking about some horror movies that have these captivity themes. I'm not going to be talking about Saw, not going to be talking about Hostel. I mean, I could talk about Don't Breathe or Martyrs. I'm going to stay away from those ones because they're talked about a lot. I want to talk about some movies that don't get enough love, as well as might be super dark and hard to watch. And some of them are also inspired by true events. So with that, I will get into it. Funny enough, the first movie I'm going to talk about is one I do not like. I wanted to get this one out of the way first, and it's funny because the title is actually Captivity. So you would think that this is a movie that I would like, and it is not. Captivity came out in 2007, and it is directed by Roland Joffe. It has a 4.6 on IMDb and a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. Successful superficial model Jennifer Tree is drugged and abducted from a swanky nightclub party. Waking up in a dingy cellar, she is brutally tortured by her unseen captor until the discovery of fellow hostage Gary in a neighboring cell offers a glimmer of hope. However, with another twist of the knife, Jennifer finds herself in even greater danger. I really didn't like this movie. Brendan and I watched it maybe 4 years ago, and I just thought it was really boring, really bad, not my thing, which is so surprising because of the title itself. That's all I'm going to say about this one. Now that I've got that one out of the way, I'm going to get into ones that I truly like. So this is probably one of, if not my favorite captivity film. I am going to talk about Chained from 2012. This is available on Amazon Prime to watch if you are interested. It has a 6.4 on IMDb and a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is directed by Jennifer Lynch, who is David Lynch's daughter. Held captive by a serial killer since the age of 8, a teen must choose between escape or following in the captor's bloody footprints. This is about a cab driver who abducts people, and he just so happens to abduct a woman and her son and ends up keeping the son for many, many years, raising him. I loved this movie. It is super dark and dirty. The acting is so good by both Vincent and Eamon. This has Vincent D'Onofrio and Eamon Farren in it, starring in it. And like I said, it's super dark and dirty. The acting is really good. You're curious to see how this boy is going to turn out being raised by his captor. And there's a little bit of a twist in the movie as well. I highly recommend this movie if you are into dark content. And I should say that most of these movies I'm going to bring up are dark. Like, if it's a movie about captivity, it's going to be hard not to make these movies dark. So this is your warning. The next movie I'm going to talk about, I have mentioned it on this channel before, is The Seasoning House from 2012. This is on Tubi and Prime, and it is a British horror movie. A deaf and mute orphan silently plots an ingenious and brutal revenge on the soldiers who prostitute girls. The director is Paul Hyatt. It has a 6.1 on IMDb and a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that's slightly low of a rating. There is a lot of SA in this movie, so that is a big trigger warning I'm going to give right now. Feels super dirty and grimy. But this is a revenge story, so that is why I really like this one. And there are a lot of good knife kills and knife stabbings that I thought were really good effects. So yeah, I'll let you decide if you want to watch it or not. I also really like the relationships formed between some of the girls in this movie. It does not have a very happy ending for most of them, but I still liked it. The next movie I am going to bring up is another one of my faves. It is called Hounds of Love from 2016. It is available on Prime or Tubi. This is an Australian horror movie. I think this one is so well done. It has a 6.5 on IMDb and an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, fully deserved for that percentage. Vicky Maloney is randomly abducted from a suburban street by a disturbed couple. As she observes the dynamic between her captors, she quickly realizes she must drive a wedge between them if she is to survive. I really like this movie. There is some essay present in this film. This girl is being held captive by this couple. The man in this relationship is absolutely vile and disgusting and creepy. There are some very tense moments in this movie. You are also following her family trying to find her. My heart was literally racing at the end of this movie because I thought, I just wanted to know what was going to happen to see if she was going to survive or not. And it is so tense, just so tense. I also really love how she is trying to drive a wedge between this couple because she notices that the wife in the couple is starting to have some feelings of jealousy, as well as she notices there are some cracks in their relationship. I highly recommend this one as well. The next movie I am going to talk about, this one is a hard one. I went down a rabbit hole of this story because it is a true story. Years ago, oh my gosh, probably a decade ago, I remember perfectly being at work watching YouTube videos on this case. This is about 3 girls that were abducted and they did escape. So this does have somewhat of a happy ending, even though these girls went through hell. This is called The Cleveland Abduction from 2015, and it is on Netflix, I believe. Taryn Manning actually stars in this movie. It's a Lifetime movie. It's not like an Oscar-winning movie by any means, but because it is a true story, it is so dark. And I think I appreciated it more because I knew the whole story going into it. There are tons of YouTube videos on this real story as well out there, so you could look those up if you're interested. A single mother becomes Ariel Castro's first kidnapping victim and finds himself trapped in his home with 2 other women for 11 years. This is directed by Alex Calumnius. It has a 6.6 on IMDb and a 54% on Rotten Tomatoes. The film is based on the memoir Finding Me, A Decade of Darkness, A Life Reclaimed by Michelle Knight. Michelle Knight is one of the survivors. It is based off the real abductions of Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeSuze. The real Michelle Knight was reluctant to meet Raymond Cruz, who plays Ariel Castro, because he reminded her so much of the real Ariel, and eventually they did meet and they became friends. Cruz's wife was also hesitant for him playing this role because of how much of a monster he is in real life. But she eventually read the script and realized he should play it because if it doesn't get talked about, these girls will not be cared about. And also, Cruz gained over 30 pounds in 2 weeks just to play this role, which I thought was pretty crazy. This is a true story, so if you're interested in that, I would look up the story maybe before watching the movie. Another movie I want to talk about, this one gets talked about a little bit more, I find, but maybe not quite enough. The Poughkeepsie Tapes from 2007. This is on Tubi. New York homicide investigators find hundreds of videotapes of torture, murder, and dismemberment, showcasing a serial killer's work over decades. Director is John Eric Dowdle. It has a 5.9 on IMDb and a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. This one's creepy. This one, the first time I watched this one, I was scared to go outside at night by myself because it's super chilling. And the women you see them in the basement held captive. It is in the point of view of the killer because he's the one filming it all. So it's pretty creepy stuff. The next movie I'm going to talk about is also based on a true story. It is a hard watch. It is called The Girl Next Door from 2007. This is available on Tubi. Director is Gregory Wilson. It has a 6.5 on IMDb and a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. In a quiet suburban suburban town in the summer of 1958, two recently orphaned sisters are placed in the care of their mentally unstable Aunt Ruth, but Ruth's depraved sense of discipline will soon lead to unspeakable acts of abuse and torture. This movie is very disturbing. It is actually based off of Jack Ketchum's book. I read the book as well. I read the book first. I really like the book more. It is a super emotional read, though, very dark, very hard to read. But Jack Ketchum has a way of storytelling that I find very well done. So this is based on a true case. In 1965, teenage Sylvia Likens was beaten, starved, and taunted by her former neighborhood friends and by her caregiver. This is not a happy ending, so I am just going to warn you now. And the final movie I'm going to bring up, I don't have a whole lot to say about this one, but I did want to mention it. I have seen it. I just don't really remember it, so I have to go back and rewatch it. It is called Pet from 2016. It is on Amazon Prime. Director is Carl Torrens. It has a 5.7 on IMDb and a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. A man bumps into an old crush and holds her captive underneath the animal shelter where he works. Again, I haven't seen this one in a little while, so I cannot completely remember how it goes down. So I can't give you any trigger warnings, can't really say too much about the story. It is one I want to rewatch soon, though. Let me know if you've seen it and what you think of it in the comments. But yeah, that's the last one I wanted to bring up. Let me know if there's any other lesser known Captivity movies that I have missed, because I would love to see some more. I do have to be in the mood to watch them because a lot of the time they don't have happy endings and they can be super dark. Sometimes they're inspired by true stories, like I've said. But yeah, let me know what I'm missing and if you've seen any of these ones and what you think of them. We also have channel memberships now, so go check that out. There are 2 tiers. The lowest one is only 99 cents Canadian. So become a channel member. And we also have merch that is 20% off right now. 20%, 25%? I think it's 25%. 25% off right now, so go check that out. And yeah, please like, share, and subscribe as always, and stay spooky.